I used to really focus on um, keeping things general, but still trying to reveal a specific emotion that I was feeling, um, in hopes that other people could take it and it wouldn't be too specific to me that they couldn't relate to it. You know what I mean? Like, I always wanted to make sure people could take it like I did when I was growing up. Every song that'd be have like one sentence that reminded me of whatever little moment I was going through. I was like, oh, this is my song. Because that stuff really matters to somebody that listens to lyrics and really like applies those moments to their lives.
When she said, I thought, wow, I've not heard her say that. Um, for quite a while maybe, but I really remember her saying that a lot back in the day when I was a teenager, and she was doing a lot of TV interviews and just a lot more promo, like,
Yeah.
late 90s in particular, I'm thinking here. She would say that people would ask her, very rarely, not often enough, about her songwriting, but she would say that I write this, I write that, and I'm writing about something that's personal to me, but I don't want to make it too specific. Or she'd almost like dodge questions, like, is this about a certain someone? And she would be like, well, I'd like to leave it, to the imagination, not just because she doesn't want to divulge too many details about her personal life. At that point, we're years away from the memoir, but
Yeah.
because of what she says and how you describe, she wants us all to be able to attach ourselves to the music and interpret it in our own way. She speaks about outside, and the word she uses in recent years is otherness, and for her, she's speaking about her racial identity and what that impacts on her growing up was. And a lot of us in the queer community will identify with outside for that reason. I also, as an adopted child, attach to songs like Outside from that perspective as well. So I do really appreciate the fact that she does have a lot of songs in her catalogue where she has done a very clever thing with capturing thoughts and feelings that can actually then serve as something really, really useful and helpful for all of us, even though we are not attaching ourselves to them in the same vein in which she wrote them.
I wrote Outside about specific feelings of otherness that I felt as a child. Anyone who's ever felt like an outsider can find themselves in this song. To explain.
I do not attach to Outside in the same way that
No.
she attaches to those lyrics when she wrote it, but it still has a huge impact on me as a song, and that's a very clever thing to do. And this lesson 3, lyricism, write about the realness, we go in.
I think a lot of different people can relate to it, but for me, it was about being biracial and how that has really become such a, I don't know, it's, I don't know the word to actually, I don't know that there's one word that I can use to describe what that's done to me, but it's sort of like the bane of my existence. It's kind of like, to be Black and biracial is a very specific thing. You could be a bunch of different mixtures of things, but that is very specific. And especially when you grow up in white neighborhoods and you go through the different things that I went through, it's been an interesting journey. Like, it is what it is. Now, this is not woe is me. This is just the truth. And, that song Outside specifically, as a writer, I'm very proud of in terms of the lyrics, because they're very honest and they're real, and they're a reflection of my life.
It reminded me specifically of when E=MC² came out and the song Bye Bye. The lyrics in that song, she literally says, this is for everybody. And so one verse of that, she sort of specifies about her father and her father passing. But then she actually talks about, this is for my people who just lost somebody, your best friend, your lady, your blah, 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 all of that. She talks about everybody. And that was what it reminded me of when she was speaking about that here. But yes, she goes through 3 songs in this section, doesn't she, specifically? She starts with Looking In, she goes onto Outside, and then she finishes with Sunflowers for Alfred Roy. So it's quite a heavy section.
My song, Sunflowers for Alfred Roy. That's for my dad. It's an important song to me. And one day I hope that my kids will know why it's important, what all the little nuances mean.
For me, this is going to sound like really mean, actually. I think it was for Lambs. This was probably the most derivative section, not because it wasn't incredibly informative or interesting, but if you've read the memoir, we know all this. This very much felt like it could have been a chapter from the memoir. But they're important stories and they sort of need telling as well. So I'm not saying that as like a real negative, but when I was watching, I know I was more excited for a couple of upcoming lessons. And this one felt like, right, I know this and this is great, but I want to, let's rattle through this one, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel you. There wasn't much that was well. There wasn't. Was there anything new here for me? I don't think so. We've done our homework. I mean, we are, very hardcore lambs. Here we are, sat on a sunny afternoon, recording a podcast talking about Mariah. You know, we are hardcore. We know her life story and her catalogue inside out. But I was so happy to see on this platform, to give, was it this 16 minutes of time and attention to the songwriting and to go. This is the one, what I wrote down was this is one of the lessons where I've got some friends that they will tolerate some Mariah on shared playlists. They'll have some, but I can't get them to watch 1 hour 40. But this is like, can you give me 16 minutes and 13 seconds of your time? This is one I might get them to watch because I'm not going to put songs like Sunflowers, Looking In, Outside. I'm not going to put those songs in front of them. I'm not going to make my friends listen to those songs because it'd be lost on them. And actually, these songs are very personal to me and I don't want them to like bat them away. It's almost like disregarding these songs, it would be hurtful to me almost by association. But I would really be interested to see what their reaction to it is because lesson 3 is titled Lyricism Write About the Realness, and she just talks about outside and she goes there. She reminds us of her racial heritage. She does open up, and yes, she is repeating stories that we know but from her father passing, but it's a massive part
And they're
of
good
her story.
stories.
They're good. They're worth telling.
Stories.
It bears repeating, absolutely. And I think it really does put the more casual viewer in a good position to appreciate what a good lyricist she is. So I really might wrestle a friend or two into the chair and play
And
this
the
for them.
thing about it as well, with the longer episodes, like, because this is the longest one, we've got to keep calling them episodes, lessons.
Lessons.
With the longer lessons, they are split into sections as well. So if you do want to skip ahead and because you like outside and want to show a friend that part, you absolutely can. So that they're broken down within the lessons themselves as well.